This should be a quick video trying to get my windows covered with the film to prevent people from being able to see in from the outside. The goal is that I should be able to see outside from the inside, but not inside from the outside. My wife did something similar to the windows in the garage on the house a few weeks ago with a dark tint. She was hoping for a limousine tint where you wouldn't be able to see in no matter what. But at night, with the lights on the inside of the garage, you can see in a little bit. So I have a silver film, and I'm hoping that it will alleviate that problem. I'm going to try it on the two windows on this side of the shop first because they face away from the street, and we'll see how well that works. And if it works well, I'll put them on the windows on the far side. As you can see, I don't have any blinds or window coverings, and I'd like to keep it that way because I think it looks cleaner and it lets some nice light in. So if it doesn't work, I may have to put up some blinds, even if they're just on the far side of the shop. I've never done this before, so come along as I try and struggle my way through getting some window tint up on the windows, see if I can manage to make it work or if I make a huge mess of everything. And as far as what I'm using, it's just this generic silver window film that I got online at that website that's not a river in South America. And it wasn't very expensive if I remember correctly. I want to say it was $50 to get enough of this film to do all four windows. And there were certainly less expensive options, but this was one of those where I figured the absolute cheapest option wouldn't be the best, the most expensive option wouldn't be the best. So I chose B in the middle, and I hope that that one is just right, but we'll see. First things first, I've let the shop get too cluttered with stuff and things, so I need to clear out some spaces in front of both windows so I can get to them without killing myself. And through the magic of editing, I've got spaces cleared out, and I should have enough room to work on either side and not kill myself in the process. I've got to get the windows as clean as possible. As you can see, they still have the stickers from where they were installed, they've got spider webs on them, and they're covered with a year of just dust and grime from me working in the shop. So I'm going to get some things to get the windows cleaned, and I'm going to get them as squeaky clean as possible. My wife said that was the trick to the success with the windows in the garage. I've got some shop towels, some microfiber towels, some glass cleaner, and a razor blade to scrape off the residue. So let's jump into a time lapse and get these windows cleaned up. There, and just like that, we have two clean windows. The roll of tint is 36 inches wide, and each glass panel is a little under 30 inches wide, so it's plenty wide enough. Each panel is also about 26 inches tall, so I just need to cut some pieces out of this, and then we can take it over and start applying it to the window. Okay, now we're not going to scratch the laminate. All right, let's see how we install this. The instructions leave a little to be desired. We measure and cut the film, we peel back the protective film, we spray some water on the film and on the window, and then we carefully align and work all of the bubbles out before trimming the edges and the excess with a razor blade. Let's see how well this goes. If you want to see a close-up of the instructions, there you go. You can pause the video now for a high-resolution version of your own. I think I'm going to call an audible, and I'm going to try installing this like I would install a decal, and I'm just going to peel a little bit along the top, then I'll wet the window, then we'll get it on and lined up and see if we can squeegee it down. Not sure if that's the best way to do it. It's counter to what the instructions say, but let's try that anyway. This is probably absolutely not the right way to do this, but it's the way I'm going to give it a try. Okay, I have enough film. That works. I can start from this side. That works. I think the next thing I need to do is take my application fluid, give the window a spritz, and see if we just wreck it all and make a big mess. All right, so that's working. Definitely have some bubbles. I don't know if those are showing up on the video, but it's certainly not perfect. All right, I think I need to get a razor blade and make a cut along the top and start to work my edge. I'm gonna do that. I'll be right back. All right, this is where it's gonna get tricky because I definitely have some warping and some bubbles here. I think I'm just gonna send it. I'm gonna hope that that works. Oh, it's super satisfying to push the bubbles up and out. That's quite nice. If you've ever installed like a screen protector on a phone or a tablet, it's like that, but big. I am finding that if you try and cut through the film with just the film, it's not too difficult. But as soon as you get to where the backing peel is, it doesn't want to cut through that very well. All right, so we've got rid of our protective film. Let's dispose of that and keep working our bubbles out. And I think I'm gonna need another microfiber cloth for any of the liquid that comes out at the bottom. Let me grab that. Oh, I can tell there's gonna be a few places that are gonna drive me nuts if I don't get this fixed. Maybe I didn't have enough tension on it. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, satisfying. I just gotta work these stupid bubbles out. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that one right this minute. I'm encouraged. It's not looking bad. Again, first time, it absolutely takes you to school. Wish I could get this corner just a little bit better. I feel like I'm right on the verge. Might not be possible. Those creases might be in the film now. I know that'll bother me, but I'll be the only person outside of everybody who watches this video who ever knows about it. As you can probably see in the video, the bottom panel is dimmer than the top panel. I won't get as much light in, but that's okay. I don't really depend on the windows for my lighting. I have all of my overhead lighting for my key task lighting. The windows are just sort of it's nice to have daylight, you know? Nothing more depressing than being inside and never seeing the light of day. And as you can probably see on the video, you can still see out. It's certainly more reflective. But the next test is to go outside and see if we can see in. I probably picked the worst window to do first and then test from the outside because it is one of the higher windows with the way that my lot slopes away. So from the outside, I can just see the window on the other side of the shop, and I can just barely see the lights over the workbench and the miter saw station. I can also look up and I can see, although it's like looking through sunglasses, the lights that are on the ceiling. So that gives me pause to say this may not be the solution that I'm truly looking for to prevent people from seeing in when it's dark out and there's lights on inside of the shop. I'll have to come back and see what it looks like at night. In the meantime, I'm going to get the rest of these windows up so that we have this side of the shop finished. And if I bring the camera in for a little closer look, you can see where I have a crease. I creased the film, wasn't able to get that completely out. And I have one little spot that doesn't want to quite settle down right there, but the rest of the window looks pretty good, and I don't think I have any other significant bubbles. You can also see it's kind of reflecting a little bit more than I thought. You've already seen one done. I'm just going to time lapse through the rest of these. Hopefully you'll get an okay angle. Otherwise, enjoy the happy music. Holy hell, that was harder than I thought it would be. All 4 panes had problems in slightly different ways. The good news is all of the film is up. The bad news is it is certainly not perfect. Also, from the little test that I did just a little bit ago, I'm not sure that this is going to be the ultimate solution for keeping looky-loos from seeing inside of the shop. But now that all 4 of these panes are up and these 2 windows are done, let's jump on the outside and see what it looks like. All right, looking at the outside, I can still see the shop lights shining through that are mounted up on the ceiling. And over there, I can just see the light that I keep on underneath the cabinet above the miter saw station. It's substantially reduced what I can see into the shop. Now, I can still see a little bit, and the real question will be at night, how much can I see? But for now, I think it's working. Okay, it is nighttime, and I am just trying to get a sense of how well this film is going to work, and the answer, I think, is not very well. As you can see through the window that I'm filming, you can see right in. So at night, with there being any light on the inside, it doesn't prevent anybody from looking in. So I don't think this is going to work. This isn't the solution I'm looking for. As you just saw, I'm not super happy with the performance of that silver film at night. It still lets a lot of light out, and you can see through it. Now, it tones everything down, but it's not perfect. That side of the shop I'm not as worried about because it faces away from the street, and if somebody's sneaking around and looking in that window at night, they're already up to no good. But on this side of the shop, I'm going to go with a different approach, and I'm going to put a frosted film up. Now, it's going to cut down on the visibility out, which is not ideal, but I don't usually look out these windows to see what's happening on the street as much as I look out those windows to see what's happening towards the house. So I'm hoping that that's a decent compromise to give me the privacy I want while still letting sunlight come in and keeping people from being able to see in at night when there are some lights on inside of the shop. I'm using a different brand product for the frosted windows. I tried to order some online and they sent it to me, but they sent me the wrong size and it was clearly opened and used and returned. And if you'll allow me to vent for just a second, this is a problem that I have been encountering more and more frequently, and I don't know what the solution is because, good, fast, and cheap you can have any two. It is fast and it is cheap to order on the website that I'm not going to mention, but I've noticed that the quality and consistency has gone downhill, and it's been going downhill for years. So I'm a little frustrated by that. And unfortunately, I can't quite bring myself to break the addiction. But in this case, I wanted to get this project wrapped up, and it was going to be more than 2 days to get the size I needed. So I went to my local big box, and I picked this up. Now the downside, this was slightly more expensive, and it's bigger. This is a 48-inch wide piece of window film, and I don't need 48 inches wide. I need just a hair under 30 inches wide. So those were sacrifices that I had to make because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted locally. But I was able to get it today, and look at these instructions. I mean, I'm not gonna show everything, but this is actual proper instructions. So I'm wondering if it's a false economy that we're racing to the bottom. This was only a little bit more expensive, but much better packaged, availability, unfortunately less options with sizes, much better instructions. If I had never done this before, I would have a much better shot at getting it right. So that's my complaint. Anyway, this is the product I'm going to be using for the other windows. Now I'm not going to make you sit through another time lapse. Through the miracle of editing, I'm just going to get these windows done. And just like that, the windows are frosted. I actually found this film to be easier to work with than the inexpensive stuff I got online. I don't know if that's because it is just an easier material to work with, or because I already had 4 panels over there that I had practiced and gone to school with, but I had much less difficulty getting the film installed on these windows. And it's absolutely going to do what I want it to do. You cannot see through it. Now the downside is, that means I can't see out, but nobody can see in. And as we are getting into the autumn and the winter, and the sun is starting to set, one of the problems I have in the shop is the sun comes through these windows really strong in the evening, because it sets that direction, that's west. I'm really going to be curious to see, real soon now actually, what it does to help mitigate that sort of sun coming in and really making it difficult to film in the shop or sometimes even just work in the shop because of the strong sun. So now the real question is going to be, what does it look like from the outside? And here's what it looks like from the outside. You can definitely see that the windows are white, but I don't think anybody driving through on the street, which is about another 60 feet that way, is ever going to notice. And so I think it looks fine. I'll bring it up close so that you can see inside, or rather, you'll see that you won't be able to see inside. I'm standing right behind the window. I even have my face right up against the glass. And I don't think that you can see through. I mean, I won't be able to tell for sure until I go back and look at the video, but I think that this is going to solve my problem at night of not being able to see in from the outside, which is exactly what I wanted to do in the first place. On further review of the tape, you can see the outline and silhouette of somebody standing inside the shop if they're right against the window and the sun is shining brightly on the outside. I'm not worried about it. It would be kind of akin to a frosted shower door. You might be able to see somebody moving around, but you're not going to get a look at the good stuff. Here's the side of the shop that faces the road. You can see that there are lights on the side of the shop, but no matter how hard I try, I can't see any detail. Everything is frosted out. I'll get up closer to the window and show, but other than the lights being on, you can't make anything out. And even looking directly over at that light under the miter saw station, all you can see is the glow. You can't make anything out. I can see the shadow here that's being reflected from the shelving, but I can't see any details, even if I get right up on the window. This is exactly what I'm looking for. So that brings me to the conclusion of this video. I've got some film over here that I'm not super happy with, but still lets me see what I want to see towards the house. I have some film over here that has some compromises in that I can't see out of the shop, but it's going to keep people from seeing into the shop, especially at night. And that's what I was trying to accomplish. And if somebody was prowling around the shop, I've got cameras that cover both sides and around the house. So I'm pretty well covered. This is more of a put the lock on. It's not going to keep out somebody who is determined to get in and cause problems, but anybody who's just casually curious, maybe if they're out walking the dog, and I don't necessarily want them staring in at all of the stuff in the shop, it's going to prevent that. Anyway, that wraps up this project. If you've made it this far in the video, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up. And if you like the kind of things that I do on this channel, maybe consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.